Warning, warning. This is a global ice out. Testing the right speaker. Right. Testing the left speaker. Left. Sound successfully recovered. Swan Commander. Connected. And now, the countdown has begun. And now, are you ready for a journey that goes beyond the norms? The Federal Prospects Hockey League just celebrated its 15th anniversary. With a footprint and fan base rapidly expanding, Swan Hockey is now bringing you behind the scenes. Beyond what you see at games. Beyond the arenas. Beyond the crowds. This is FPHL, Beyond the Glass.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of FPHL Beyond the Glass. I'm your host, Eric Swanek, Swan Commander on social media. This is the official podcast of the Federal Prospects Hockey League, and it is almost playoff time. Regular season winding down, playoff seedings starting to shape up more. In this episode, we're going to be joined by Blue Ridge Bobcats head coach Vojtech Zemlicka. The Bobcats are on a 5-game win streak, and last weekend they got back-to-back shutouts from Anthony Schrum, which always makes things easier when your goalie's not giving up any goals. So, let's jump into it. Let's sit down with Vojtech. Zemi, what's going on? Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Eric. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming back on. What's going on? You guys are on a five-game heater right now. Playoffs around the corner. Walk us through Blue Ridge.
It seems like we've been things been clicking well for us lately. We've been this whole season. It's been a winning streak, losing streak, winning streak, losing streak. That's why we're kind of around that 500 mark. But I find it very important that at this part of the season we're able to get on the 5-game winning streak like this, especially when we're in a push for a playoff. And as we're right now third with Topeka a couple points behind us, and Denver is still in the play too. So we would love to be already clinched, be in the spot where we're clinched, but unfortunately there's been some points we didn't get throughout the season. And but on the other hand, I always try to find the positives, and I think it's good for us to be in the fight for a playoff spot, so we're not getting too comfortable, too safe over here, and we still have something to prove on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And for a while, we've been talking about it on the show over the past, I don't know, probably about 2 months now, about how tight the the 3, 4, 5 race has been, and really in both divisions, the Empire and the Continental. And now they're starting to kind of show their cards a little bit and materialize, with you guys taking that third spot now, starting to put a little bit of distance. But again, like with the 3-point system in this league, things can change very quickly. What's been the biggest thing down the stretch, like maybe over the last 2 months for you guys, that you feel has been enabled you guys to start to take that spot in the standings that, was up for grabs for the longest time and still is up for grabs, but like I said, starting to materialize more now?
Yeah, you're right. Like it's this league, like it's really even this year, and everybody can play against everybody. Everybody can beat everybody. But for us, we try to focus on 2 things here mainly. The first one is a habit. It's once you get in January, February, March, like that's I like to call it the dogs days. That's when teams get complacent, and they kind of forget about the little things and what makes them successful in the first part of the season. And that's something I harp on a lot, is just having the right habits, and not just in the game, but obviously throughout the practice, and understand with that that the body's getting tired, the guys are getting, they get injuries here and there. So I try to do a job for them where if things are clicking, we playing good hockey, they get enough rest. The practices get a little shorter, more to a point than spending a ton of time on the ice and focus on the video. What I think is the best tool in hockey, and continue studying the game. Plus, and another thing we try to focus in is things would affect your game, like your mental, your mental strength, mental side of the game. We talk about it a lot, and as you have so many different characters in the locker room, it's hard to please everybody. But yet again, I feel like it's so important to have those one-on-one conversation, making sure that the guys are feeling good, not just on the ice, but everything's good for them in their personal life as well, and they're happy here. And if there is any concern, we try to be there for them. And I think that's another part where you gotta show the guys that you're not above them, but you with them. And I'm not any bigger than any of those guys in the locker room. We're one team, we're one family, and having that accountability. Things gonna go up and down in hockey. Just like in the game, you get a momentum, you lose a momentum, but being able to come together is very important. And I feel like we have came together here over the last stretch over here. And honestly, since the 2026, I feel like we turn the page and start playing some good hockey. And there's still gonna be mistakes, and there are games we should have won and we lost, but that's part of the learning process, and that's part of becoming a team, and then coming together. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, like turning the page to 2026, like that's, we've said it a couple times now, like it's, it's all about getting hot at the right time. Like you get hot at the right time, like that's, that's what you need, especially in this league with the short series. I mean, like you look back to the St. Louis Blues years ago, they're in I think they're in dead last place in the NHL in January, wound up winning the cup that year. So like, just getting hot the right time is so important.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the FPHL last season. I mean, you had in the finals, you had Evansville playing against Knoxville. I think they were second and 8th seed in the regular season, making it all the way to the finals. So,
yeah,
with the call-ups in this league and injuries, and you're right, being hot at the right time is important. But at the end of the day, the important is to clinch and get in the playoff, and then it becomes a completely different game. As long as we preach this season that we need to play playoff hockey from the game on through the whole 56 games, because that's something what I felt like we lacked last season. We wasn't ready to play Thunderbirds in the playoff, and this year I think we're doing much better job at it. Plus, we got a little bit of the depth over here on the roster too, what I'm very, very happy with. And we have some phenomenal hockey players and great personalities too. Like what I love the most about this team is just the personalities. Like the guys are just awesome human beings, and they're willing to follow my lead and put the work in and come together and step out of their comfort zone sometimes and be a leaders too. Sometimes myself as a coach shouldn't be always speaking and keeping the guys accountable, and we have some great leadership over here who does their job, and I think that helps. It's just another voice. It's the same voice, it's one voice, but it's coming from multiple different people, even from the people who doesn't have the letter on their jersey. So
all on the same page and still in the same message. And like I think that I love that you bring that up, because like it's such an important part, like the actual locker room, the people in the locker room. It's so important, because I think like one thing that a lot of people don't realize, and it's true at any level, but it's more bearable. Like obviously the higher up you go and you're making more money, but like it's not easy to be a pro athlete, and like everybody sees like the games and like, all right, it's cool, it's fun, but like it's a lot of, like you mentioned before, like checking in on the players and, you know, making sure they're still mentally in it. Is there anything that's upsetting them? Like it's a grind this season. Like it's a lot of travel. I mean, a lot of times you're living out of a suitcase, like not even necessarily like you're living out of a suitcase on the road trips, but then like there's some guys that are kind of living out of a suitcase because they're getting traded, bounced around within the league, trying to find their niche. Like, you know, most of these guys are away from home. It's not easy. And, you know, this time of year, like March, you've been doing it all year. Like, yeah, it's, you know, it could be easy to sometimes to, you know, lose your head at times. So like, I think that's, you know, important that what you mentioned before, and then even just what you mentioned now in terms of like just the room, like, cause it's so important because the room is kind of like all you have, right? Like, you know, it's like, I've always thought about it that way. Like, that was one cool thing about hockey is that no matter where you play, as soon as you show up, you instantly have 20 friends, right? But that's kind of like the only thing that's like familiar.
Correct. I agree with you. You know, it's locker room wins the championships. You know, I mean, it is so important to have the guys on the same page. And we went through a stretches where, you know, we were trying to figure it out the locker room here throughout the season. And I think, like you said, at the right time, things clicked. And I think, like I said, I love the guys who are playing here for me. And I think we have a great locker room. But you know, it's at this point of the season too. It's a lot about the reinforcement, and like as the guys know how important is this stretch is. Us as a coaching staff, we have to do a job of reinforcing the little things and the importance of the stretch. You know, because it's as a player, to me, and I tell the guys all the time, if we play in the FPHL or in the NHL, at the end of the day, professional hockey player, and we got to be grateful for having the opportunity to play professional hockey, right? You may not make that much money as they do in the NHL, but the job doesn't really change, right? And the way you do one thing, you do everything else in the life. That's another you know thing I like to preach, and I like to go by myself, honestly. And I think it's important to understand, you know, because we said it on the first time I've been on the podcast with you. Hockey goes, the game goes, you know, beyond just the game, right? It's a lot of things will, you know, translate to a life, and I think what's important is, you know, as we're in this push, is also learning the lessons. What eventually you're gonna see and the struggles you're gonna see in life, it doesn't really change much, right? And we have to figure that out together as a team, and I think that's where, like I said, the leadership group's done a great job. And I can, you know, we got one captain, we got 2 aces on the home ice, 2 aces on the away ice, but you know, I'm not gonna tell you we have 5 leaders. We have 22 leaders on the team. Every guy who's on the roster, and that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and you know, to your point, like, yeah, like you're, you know, it's kind of you know, you're developing these life skills, and right now, you know, they're just being applied to hockey, right? But like you're developing life skills, and I know that the development, like even the hockey development, is, you know, very, very important to you. I mean, you're definitely one of the most, you know, concerned, if not the most concerned coach with, you know, individual player development in the league. How's that been this year? Like, obviously you went into the year with a very specific plan of attack and everything in terms of the development. Like, have you been happy with how the players responded? Like, how's that been?
Yeah, you know, big thing I learned this season is for myself that I have to adapt. You know, when I've played what's not too long ago, I felt like the mentality was a little bit different than it is now, with the younger players coming in the league. And with the way the life just is nowadays, like you have to adapt, right? I can't expect the guys to have that mindset like I had, or the teammates I had before. The things are changing, and I have to do a job at adapting. Even you know, even like you said, like yes, I created a plan, and there's the things I want to go by, but you can't always do that, right? Like things will change, and you have to be able to adapt. And I think as far as the development this year, I think it went well. You know, I'm learning myself. I'm the hardest person I'm on myself, honestly. And if I don't spend, every week couple of hours of studying when it comes to managing the players or just the X and O's principle, whatever it may be, then I feel like I have no right to be preaching something to the guys. I want them to get better on the daily basis, and I have to do the same thing. And that's where my confidence in coaching comes from, is just continue getting better and studying. And I think the guys are on the same page, and then they do the same thing. I feel like not just only from hockey perspective, but just maturity level of some guys from the start of the season to this part of the season, you can see a huge difference. And that's what brings me a happiness as a coach, to see. Obviously wins are important, that's how you keep your job, but I believe if you're on the right track of a development individually, in the small groups and as a team in the overall, on and off the ice, then it will show. And that's something I've been trying to do since my year one coaching, because I know how important it was for me in my career, and things I wish I had done better as a player. And I'm trying to make sure the guys doesn't repeat the same mistakes I made. But at the times, you can give the guys a hand, and they either take it or not too. So I guess answer to your question, for the most part, the development's been really good. But obviously, it's not gonna work out with everybody at all the time, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, some guys, they just, it's either not a fit, or they don't get it, or they don't want to get it, right? It takes like the right, like the person has, like the player has to be receptive to the information, right. And then, it's not like a willingness to commit to it as well, right? Like it's not only like, like there's accepting it, and then there's like embracing it. Like, okay, I accept this has to change, but okay, now I'm going to embrace it and actually make the change. And it's hard for all players.
Absolutely. You can make mistakes, you can get complacent, but what is your response? Are you gonna try to fix that, or are you gonna continue being complacent? And at the end of the day, this is a professional hockey, right? It's our job to do, and we can't have a players where they continue repeating the same mistakes, what eventually is going to take a toll on the team, right? Everybody gets opportunity. They make a mistake to fix it or to work on it, and to see at least an effort of trying to change it. And for the most part, again, this season here with our guys, they've done that. We all make mistakes. I mean, I fell on the daily basis. I mean, I preached something at the start of the season, what in the middle of the season I'm going to learn that I should have said things a little differently or done things a little differently, and I have to come back as a coach, and then let the guys know, hey, this was wrong from me, this is how it needs to be, this is how it's done the right way, to show them that I keep myself accountable as much as I keep them accountable, and that's the only way they're going to follow my lead.
Yeah Now heading into the playoffs here, I'm assuming you guys would rather, if obviously taking the third spot puts you, if the playoffs were to start tomorrow, you guys are playing Port Huron. Is that a big deal for you guys, playing Port Huron first as opposed to playing Binghamton first? Is it something that's kind of secondary? Like you kind of don't care, you're just focused on doing your thing? Like what's the playoff position mean to you guys, if anything, really?
So, both of the teams are great. Don't get me wrong. Binghamton, especially, winning last 2 years, they have unbelievable organization and a team. Port Huron on the other hand, they usually every year clinch the playoff, and they do well too. It's a two different style of the teams. Port Huron is a little bit more gritty, and they will get under your skin, and it's going to be very physical, while Binghamton, they play really good hockey, and they're structured, and then they have some individually really good players on their team. Plus we haven't played them this season, so it's really hard to measure what the series would look like because we haven't had the opportunity to play against each other. Now, on the other hand, from last season, last time we've played them, things didn't go very well for both of the organizations, right? So either way, I think, Binghamton will the way I'm looking at it is we would like to play Port Huron. Now, I'll say, and we talk about in the locker room over the last 3 years, we haven't won a game in Port Huron, so that's something to to keep in the mind too. But I also believe it's the time to change it, right? So we're starting on the home ice. Either way, we play Binghamton or Port Huron, we have to get a job done home, and then we heading in the Port Huron. It's something where we have to prove ourselves, and that's what we try to do on the daily basis. So it shouldn't be anything new to our team, to our guys. If we play Binghamton, none of us, including myself, have played there. I'm sure some guys have played who played on different teams, but as an organization, we've never played in Binghamton. So that would be something new to us. But I guess simple answer to your question, yeah, we would like to play Port Huron, and I believe that Binghamton will have a strong push in the playoff as they have every year, and most likely, if we can do the job and get the job done against Port Huron, we would be meeting them in the following round.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd rather play Port Huron first too. Not only because Binghamton's Binghamton, but it gives a chance for an upset too, right? Like you never know. Like maybe Binghamton gets upset in the first round, and you're not, and you never have to play them ever, right? Like if you get past Port Huron, right? So that's why me personally, I'd rather play Port Huron too.
Yeah, absolutely. But either way we play Port Huron or Binghamton, we're not fearing to play either of them. We're ready for and we're accepting the challenge to whoever it is to play against us. And again, playoff is a different beast, right? I think we've been working towards playoff, and we're ready to play whoever we're going to end up playing. So no matter it's a Binghamton, and they won last 2 years in a row. To us, it's a first round, and whoever is on the other side, it's somebody we want to get through and find a way to win that first round. So either teams we're going to be facing, it's going to be a good series.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys have PD this weekend, right? 2 games.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, like they're a tough customer too. I mean, like we've talked about it. Like they've had a very tough schedule all season long. Very good team. Like, they're I think Brant from Binghamton said that, that pod is probably the strongest pod in the, the toughest schedule in the league that they're in. And, every night has kind of, been battled for them. So they're going to be a tough customer as well.
Yeah. I think PD is one of the most underrated teams this season.
I agree with you.
Obviously they went through some changes, but watching them play lately this past weekend against Monroe, I think they're a team who can play anybody. I know, when they play Athens, usually Athens ends up on the top, but it's really close games too between them. Them and Columbus, they've been able to split some games. Now with Monroe, they split as well. So definitely that division is very strong. And you can see when you play against those teams, but with Speedy, they do have a good team, especially since they required Letkov, who I do find is one of the best players in the league, that he makes a difference for that team. Now, when you see them, having the Russian line with Frolov and Zajcik together, now this past weekend, actually, with Dom Marcinkiewicz going back to Rally R Dogs, you saw Patrick Marcinkiewicz and Letkov together, and Letkov ended up scoring 4 goals on Sunday, and Patrick Marcinkiewicz had 4 apples. And if you would watch the game and see those goals, you can see that they play almost like a kind of a European style of the game, when it's all about possession, but it's also very difficult to defend. So I've been watching a bunch of film over the last few games, last time we've played them, and the way they've played last 2 weekends. And It's a hard team to beat, and it is the only team this season we struggle to play against, honestly. And so again, this morning before our practice, we spoke about like it's another challenge where we have to prove ourselves. If you look at the schedule, Topeka is playing 5 times Indiana and 2 times Baton Rouge, while we play PD this weekend. Then we go to Mississippi, and then we have a split with Carolina, home and away. The schedule I feel like is a little tougher, but I do like it a lot too, because it's better to play the better teams towards the end of the season and get a job done against those teams and competing in those teams, so you're ready for that playoff.
Yeah, exactly. You're in a good spot, mentally, physically. But yeah, like the playoffs are going to be really good. I think that like the teams that right now are in it, I mean, it's really tight. I mean, like you can't sleep on anybody. You really can't. Like any series, like every series is going to be really good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all the teams who's going to end up going to the playoff. I mean, look at our division, even a team like Danbury, right, who's a few points behind us and still trying to get in the playoff. I mean, they have a really good team too.
Yeah.
Teams who are not going to make a playoff, there's some really good teams, but because it's so competitive this year and we have only 4 teams, clinching the playoff, it will be tough, and it will be some good hockey. I wouldn't be able to tell you who I think is going to end up on the top. Obviously, I hope it's going to be us. And that's our strong belief that's what we want. But you never know, especially with the playing only 3 game. I mean, best of 3.
It's like a mad dash.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, there's adversities, there's things happening, and we just gotta learn to be ready and take on the chance we get and get the most out of it.
Yeah. Well, I know your fan base is ready. You guys have been doing well in the fan department as well, which we expected. But that's really good to see.
Yeah, we have awesome fan group over here. The fan base, I mean, it grew from year 1 to year 2, now to year 3. I mean, last few weekends, I mean, the ring's been full out, and the support the guys get around the town. Like this is last year we've seen it a little bit, but this year we see it a lot. I mean, we're in the small community, so anywhere the guys go, they get recognized by the fans and by the local people, and they're signing autographs, taking pictures. It's a really special feeling to play here in Blue Ridge.
Yeah, absolutely. What was like the most memorable thing for you this season? Like looking back, from the season so far, like what was like the best moment so far?
Okay, let me think on this one. There's been a lot of good moments this season. Honestly, like the start of the season was one of them when we played first 2 games against Columbus. We end up sweeping. I can ask for a better start of the season.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we went like 3-0 the first 3 games playing Columbus and Carolina. That was awesome. The best part of the season this year, I mean, I don't think I can point out one thing, honestly. There's been such a good season this year, and including, the ups and downs. I've a lot of positive in the season, and I think a big games, our first game in Topeka, I think that was just a great feeling to get it done in the overtime there. Carson Gallagher scoring the game-winning goal, who's been duo a big goal for a long time. Anthony Schramm, that's this weekend, going back to back. That's another huge one and a great memory even for myself as a coach.
Yeah, 2 shutouts back to back.
Yeah, that was a big one. I don't think I don't have one thing. What was the best part of the season? I think honestly, the way I look at it is every day being able to come here and do what I love and sharing with the guys I love as our team, doing it all together, pulling for the same rope. That's the best part of the hockey. That's the best part of the season.
Yeah. And hopefully the best is yet to come, right?
Correct.
Yep. Save some room in the memory bank.
That's right.
Anything you want to end off with?
I think we covered a lot of it. Yeah, I don't have much unless you have some other questions for me.
No, I'm good if you are. So,
yeah.
But yeah, Zem, thanks for doing this, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. All right, let's do our proof of attendance token code for this episode. The code is going to be Bobcats. Enter the code at swanhockey.io on the podcast page, and you will be eligible to receive your proof of attendance token for watching this episode. Codes must be entered by 9 p.m. Eastern Wednesday night, the night that this show airs. And our magic number is 5. Collect 5 or more of these tokens, and you will have access to the member-only chat in Club Fed inside the Swan Hockey Discord server. You can get to the Discord server in the link in the description of this podcast episode. And that's going to do it for this episode. Until next time, I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you for being the best part of this episode of FPHL Beyond the Glass by Swan Hockey. We will see you soon.